I'd like to call this October 4th bid board meeting to order. We have a quorum. First item of business is approval of minutes from the September 6th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report, Jess.
The financial report is included on page 4 of your packets. You'll see there really wasn't a lot of activity in September. We did yesterday get a bill for the new light controllers for the remote access on the roofline lights downtown. So I'm taking that means it's done. So I'm going to connect with Rob and get confirmation there so that encumbrance will be removed. I did check in with all of the facade improvement grants, the awardees. We have that $15,000 encumbered there. And everyone is still moving forward, but things are moving slower than planned with, materials and things like that. So I know that the antidote, that building, one of them was it was a new sort of arched door, and it was back ordered 20 weeks. And so it sounds like it's coming in at the end of the month, and then, things like that. So we're still on track, and that will probably go into 2023. But otherwise, everything is pretty standard here. We'll talk about the lights and decorations install and removal costs to come in a moment. So that will be added to this as we move forward.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, opposed? Motion carries. I heard everybody. Next item, Christmas decoration estimates.
All right, so I apologize that I wasn't able to get this out in advance of the meeting. I just received it yesterday, and there were changes to be made. So the 2023 installation costs will be paid this year, so we have it separated, and the removal costs for the holiday decorations are paid then probably in February of next year. That's how we've done it in the past. The total cost for all of the decorations, the tree to be installed, everything, is $8,000, a little over $8,000. Let's see. I'm in the removal, sorry. This is the install. So we have the tree, it costs $4,300 to install. I removed the sleigh expense for $1,300. We've done the sleigh the last year, and it's really simple, so that just seems unnecessary. And then there's additional lit grapevine balls that go into the planting beds, ornaments, other trees. So most of the trees that are wrapped are already wrapped down there. We were able to get 2 years out of them, but we will be taking them down in February or January. So all of the costs here is $8,340. I would request or recommend that maybe we approve an amount not to exceed $9,000 because David J. Frank will replace ornaments, broken ornaments and balls and lights as they go. And so they've given us some cost estimates there, but they don't really know how much they need until they get in there. So keeping that in mind, that's why I would make that recommendation. And then the removal costs, so it looks like I have them both titled, is $7,012. We've met with David J. Frank and their team, and they would plan to take the tree down that first or second week in January in advance of winter warm-up so that we can utilize the space a little bit more and take some of the more Christmas specific items out, so it's just more wintry themed. And then they would come back later in the month or early February to take out everything else. So the total cost here again is $7,012. Are there any questions?
There was some disappointment last year. Do we think we have that behind us? And how are we going to set expectations to make sure it goes smoother this year?
So Yes, I do think most of that is behind us. We met as a team, our entire sort of logistics team met, so police and our staff. We met with David J. Frank's team in September to talk through in detail exactly how the install was going to go. So I have a pretty detailed itinerary. I do plan to send it out with the recap email from this meeting so that business and building owners will have a sense of what's taking place, what type of disruption is going on, all of that. So I feel a lot better about having a meeting like that, and they had 3 people from the David J. Frank team there. I do still recommend going forward with an RFP next year for services. We will need new Garland soon. It's starting to get, a little bit rough, and a lot of it doesn't light up anymore. So that's something that we may want to consider for 2023 if you want to continue to have Garland on the streetlights. But that may be a natural time to go out for bid and get some other ideas too.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Mike,
Yes.
a question. Is the bridge going to be back in place for the Christmas?
As far as I know, it will be put back in sometime in November, right?
Yep.
I think we ought to think about maybe next year would be really nice once the river is all done there, that maybe something could be done on the bridges to invite people to come across from the Wisconsin Arts. Not this year, but I'm talking about we should start thinking maybe about next year. Would be nice to light up those bridges and stuff.
Nice to light up the whole Riverwalk. I don't know what's going to be back there for vegetation to light up, but
Mike, are we going to be acting today on both the putting up and taking down?
yes.
Okay. So, Jess, as I understand it, you want a motion for to not to exceed 9,000 on putting it up. The taking down is fine as it stands.
Yep, that's correct.
Motion to approve a bid not to exceed $9,000 for installing the Christmas decorations and the bid as submitted for removing.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I have one question. Is 9,000, with what we've done in the past, is that enough cushion?
I feel it is. That's a replacement of about, between 20 and 40 ornaments. They haven't replaced a ton in the past, so
Okay.
I think it's okay.
All right.
Just a question about the deer. The herd has been put down, I heard.
Yes.
Is there any thoughts or discussions on replacing those?
There hasn't been any
your
discussion. I guess if we were going to replace them, we'd have to, I don't know if we can even get the,
Well, maybe not this season, it's a little
Yeah.
late, but I'm just
I
wondering.
think personally, having been intimately involved in this whole process since the beginning, I personally think we ought to wait till after next year, once we know what the street's going to look like. We know what the street's going to look like, but we'll have a better understanding. And like Jess said, we need to go out for bids to replace Garland. It looks like we're going to have less streetlights, so we'll kind of have a better feel of what we need and what we want to do with the Riverwalk, what we want to do with Main Street. And then I'd also like to get the donors that I've collected together and talk to them and see what their thoughts are and if they have any strong feelings one way or the other, or where we should go with the decorations going forward. And then the part of that, like it was when we first did this, is they look to the bid to put in some of the money into some of it as well. So I think that could be part of the discussion. I know there's some people love the deer and other people hate them. So
Yeah. I think if when the Riverwalk's done, if we do anything back there, we should probably coordinate with MOA and find out what their plans are, if they have any plans, and And,
Well, not only MOA, but all the businesses that are gonna be open on the back of
Sure.
the building, so.
yeah, I think that we have to probably wait and see what things are.
I mean, it would be
When the
awesome
dust
if
settles
MOA
next
would light
year.
their trees.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Throw some deer in there.
I don't think that would go over too well.
Maybe we need to get with the deer management crew, bring live deer in.
That would be fine with me.
The downtown.
Just one more question.
Hey,
Can you look at could you look in the archives and just remind us of what that cost was for those and how many?
Sure, I can look into it.
It was
Yeah.
like,
I got a receipt.
it was like $3,000.
Really?
It's like 3,500 bucks.
Yeah,
For how many again?
24 of them?
35, really?
Was it really 35 we
They
started?
averaged out about 100 bucks a piece.
Really? Because they look nice
I
for that
doubt
price.
it's that anymore.
Well, I'm guessing, yeah.
Tony, if you'd really like to have deer in the park next to you, I'm sure we'd let you do it this
Well, the
year.
last herd was quite tasty. So. I just was curious. They looked nice that time, and I didn't think for this season. I assumed after next year's reconstruction, it might be something worthy of evaluating. So,
All right,
I'm good.
so any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a marketing committee update.
Well, the marketing committee is planned to meet for the first time on November 3rd at 7:30 a.m. Fuzz Martin from Epic Creative has offered to sort of facilitate our first meeting. We have a great group, 16 people, so it's a large group, and I think it will be helpful for us to be able to break into smaller groups, larger conversation, identify some goals, and just kind of kick it off the right way. So I'm looking forward to that. We have representation from service businesses, restaurants, bars. We have our chamber director, Gina from the Downtown Association, several of you from the bid board, and also some city staff who will help carry out any marketing activities that are identified to take place.
Didn't we talk about our marketing budget being allocated primarily to using those dollars for the reconstruction next year and assisting businesses with promoting options of?
Well, not assisting businesses to promote options, it was to assist businesses, people to realize that businesses are still there.
Better
So
said.
I think that's what this marketing committee is gonna come up with of
Yeah.
a plan.
But my question was, did we decide to allocate that money 100%? I kind of put it out there.
We threw
For
it out
1
there,
year.
but we haven't.
Is that something we need to make a motion or
I think
determine?
once
or-
we hear from the marketing committee of what they're
I agree
looking
with
for,
that. I'm just asking, what's the process?
At that point, we would have to, yeah. We'd have to agree to whatever they're asking for dollars.
I'm guessing if I were on their committee, they'd be wondering what they have to work with.
Well, we know it's there, so it's up to that dollar amount. I think, was it 15,000?
20,000.
20.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, Mike, no more questions.
Hopefully, we won't need to spend it all.
Anything
That's
else?
it.
Anything else in the marketing committee?
Nope.
We'll
That's
give a
all.
report in, is that meeting before the November meeting or after?
After,
It's after. It's on Thursday, the 3rd, which is also the same day as the tree lighting ceremony.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so good segue.
Yeah. Great. So I guess the last two items are really just updates. We are asking and looking for volunteers. Jacob Mueller over there is taking on coordinating volunteers for our Garland installation. So if you're interested in helping out, we'd really appreciate it. It's on Monday, October 31st, downtown, 8 a.m. Usually takes about 2 to 3 hours tops, and we pair up or have teams of 3 out there. So it's pretty simple and manageable. But the more hands we have, the better. So thank you in advance for volunteering. And please let Jacob know if you plan to attend. We will also do a call for volunteers from people who have done it in the past and send it out in our recap email. And the tree lighting ceremony is also the same week. So Monday kicks off the installation of all of the holiday decorations, and we will be ready to roll for our annual event. It's on Thursday, November 3rd at 6:30 is when the remarks will happen. But starting as early as 6 o'clock, we're going to be kind of expanding this year with live music, working with the band. They will also be having a comedian Erica Rhodes in town for that weekend, and she's going to be our MC for the evening, and some entertainment. We also have the West Bend High School choir interested in performing, after the remarks and the countdown as well. So it's going to be a really fun night, and please save the date.
Any questions? All right. Next item is any agenda items for the next meeting. None? You can think of? I guess.
Sorry.
Oh.
I do have one thing. So the next meeting, we will have an update from the State Historic Preservation Office. I'm pleased to share that we finally made it on an agenda, and our nomination will be going forward later in November. So more information is to come. We have a couple of very small loose ends before I can send out some additional information. But on that first meeting in November, they will come and they'll plan to have a pretty sizable, maybe half-hour to 45-minute presentation on what the nomination looks like and what we can expect.
Okay, so let's not plan a big agenda, knowing that. So if nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.